sitting here. This is just gonna be like a talking video. Um, so I just want to talk about some stuff regarding strategy and how, I guess, mixed opinions there are online. I see so many people talking about how like strategy doesn't matter. You just pick a strategy and then you know then it's just discipline. And I think that's like so wrong. Now, I mean, I don't really have much, I guess, of a reputation yet for anyone to take my word for it. Um, but I've been at this for like 9 months almost, or probably more. And I just got my first payout after 2 weeks of a new strat. I started my strategy, I traded it for 2 weeks, and I got a payout. And I think what everyone needs to understand is you need to have a strict strategy. You need to have so many rules that need to be followed for you to take a trade. I used to be just trading fair value gaps. Like go long because we inverse this one and tap this one, and you know, that was it. And then I changed to the 4 hour PO3, and now I don't trade every day. I don't lose every time I trade. I don't have the need to revenge trade because I feel like I stuck to my strategy, but it wasn't actually my strategy, you know? Like some people just have like this strat that's so freestyle that at that point it's like not even like you have rules to follow. And I think that's where people get so like confused, because if you don't have these strict rules and you lose, you know, you're gonna feel like you want to take another trade because maybe you did something wrong. Maybe, you know, you don't have such strict rules, and then after you take your trade and you lose, you realize that there was so many more things that you should have followed or that you didn't see in hindsight because you're not following a plan. And then you want to go take another trade and then you want to make everything back. But when you have such a strict strategy and you lose, you're able to tell yourself, I got everything that I needed. You know, maybe my daily bias was wrong. You know, maybe SMT wasn't on the highest time frame, but you got everything that you needed to take your trade, and it wasn't in your direction, and that's okay because you need to be okay with the fact that you're not gonna win every time. You know, and when you're risking $200, but your RR is consistently 1 to 2, 1 to 3, maybe 1 to 5 sometimes, and one win that's good RR can wipe out all your losses for the past 2 weeks. There's no need to revenge trade. There's no need to overtrade. There's no need to over risk. I'm completely fine with risking $200, $250 in a day because I know that at the end of that day, I'm not just going to be making $200, which is chump change, you know, 1 to 1. If you're going to do 1 to 1, you risk $700. But then, unless your win rate is like 70% and you're trading every single day, those $700 are going to eat you up. So I'm recommending whoever has watched my stuff before, whoever thinks that I'm credible in any sort of way, to pick a strategy that is so intricate, that is so detailed. Like every single time I trade, my stop is at a protected low. Do you know how many times I crashed out, re-entered a trade, over risked, under risked, and then my TP is nothing compared to what I've lost because my strategy has you place your stop loss wherever. Below a fair value gap, at the fucking recent low. Like, you need to have these things in check. The amount of times I re-entered because I got stopped out, and then I was like, damn, I should have had it at the protected low. But then I realized if I did have it at the protected low, that's like $600, and that's too much for me to lose. You know, you guys need to have something so strict that you're okay with losing because you did the right thing, not because anything else, because you did the right thing. You know, so I change your strategy. Have it more disciplined. Have it more strict. I don't care if you take 2 or 3 trades per week. And literally just one. I'm not talking about AM trade and PM trade. No. You take one trade in the day or zero, and that's it. And there should be no reason why you should ever tell yourself that you need to over leverage and over risk or re-enter a position, take another trade the same day, full port that bitch just to make your losses back, because you know and you've seen that your model works. I literally was trading in between fair value gaps, 15-minute bearish fair value gap, then you look for a 1-minute fair value gap. No, man. Like, some people say trading is so simple, and it's not. You guys need to know the confluences. You guys need to know the daily bias. You guys need to know that it just doesn't take fair value gaps and high time frame PD arrays to just make it and have a good system. Now, I know to some people CISD, breaker blocks, order blocks, um, closing above previous day to determine daily bias, or Monday's um, direction determines the rest of the week may not seem complicated, but I was in the boat for 8 months of just trading for value gaps, just trading what the market looked like, and it was so shit. And then 2 weeks after having this new strategy, I was able to get $2,000 payout on one account. If that was 5 accounts, it would have been 10 grand. And I've never gotten a payout. I've never seen a single dollar from this for the past 9 to 10 months. And now, once you get a system in place where you know if you follow your rules and you lose, it's okay, is a game changer. Where you're okay with losing 1% or 0.5% of your account, because when you do hit a trade, it's going to be 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, maybe 1 to 5. You know, you don't feel the need to go ahead and risk $500 because your TP is also $500, which isn't a lot. And that's over risking, unless you're on 150K. But beginners aren't on 150K, and if you are, I recommend you get off that. Because I blew 10 accounts before, I blew 10 fundeds before getting my first payout. I genuinely think everyone has to have such a strict system. Everyone has to determine, am I taking 2 trades a day, 1 trade a day? I don't care if you won your first trade, but then tomorrow, if you lose, you're going to take another one. You just wiped out all your profits. 2 trades a day. You have to do 2 trades a day. You know? You can't just do one day you make $500 and the next day you take 2 trades and you lose 600. You're wiping out everything you made. You have to have such a strict system and such a trust in the process. And that is literally the one thing that snapped, that clicked for me to get my first payout just the other day. Wiped every single dollar, or close to every single dollar that I spent on fundeds. You know? So, I think if you stop freestyling your trades, if you stop just looking for these confluences, and you actually have a system that you can get somewhere. And if you don't, you gotta have oh jeez, you gotta have the discipline. You gotta have the discipline if you're gonna be freestyling to just take a loss. But I don't see the consistency. I don't see those winners eating up those losers if all you're doing is trading some bullshit. You might learn how to see daily bias, you might learn that high time frame, PD array, continuation, low time frame, whatever. Like, it's up to you. Everyone's in control of this shit. Everyone's in control of their own trades. And if you see a system that pays you and that you know if you follow it you'll be up, that's all the confidence you need. So yeah, I might upload this. I might not. I'm just trying to put something out there that I've been thinking about recently. So yeah, no trades for me today. PA was pretty bad. We had that huge open move 9:30. It's just massive. We really didn't go anywhere after that. And that's the things that you guys have to do. You guys have to know that you cannot trade every day. That you even if you get your setup and these market conditions aren't good because we did make a huge move before your setup, or we have NFP the next day, or some guy is speaking later on, that even if you get your setup, it might not be the best to take it. I would have lost if I took my setup. It presented itself, and I would have lost. But cutting out all of those little losses is what makes you profitable, and profitable to a point where it matters. I'm not talking about $500 in a month. I'm not talking about any sort of chump change. Thousands. Cutting out all those small losses. So, you know, think about that. One trade, 5 accounts, $1,000. It's 5 grand. It's all you need. That can make your week. You don't need to trade every day. And if you have such a strict system, one trade that's A plus that presents itself, and you can make more than you ever thought you would. That's all you need. One trade can make your month. 150K account. $3,000 across 5 accounts. And then you just keep going until you meet that consistency rule. And those 5 trades, there's your month. Something to think about. I'll see y'all in the next one.